What is going on, boys and girls of YouTube? We're doing our top 5 videos for current meta, plus I'm incorporating some of what's coming in these big patches, like the Bassett rework type stuff, all those things, which oddly enough isn't going to put Bassett in our top 5, which is sad because she was. I actually think she's worse now off my first take. Maybe that'll change. We'll see. Anyway, point is, top 5 junglers. Today's video is brought to you and sponsored by Manscaped and their new Manscaped 4.0 performance package, coming with the new and improved 4.0 lawnmower. This thing is glorious. You can use it in a shower. It's waterproof. That alone tells you get it right now. Does the job, is fantastic. It's something you literally must have. On top of that, you've got the weed whacker. You guys are all wearing headphones. Your ears are definitely getting gross. You need to get up in there, get up in your nose on the camera a little bit. Don't want the nose hairs poking out. You've also got the ball deodorant, and we have the reviver. These are actually awesome because you kind of just, you know, quick little spritz and you're good to go. Code WEEKEND20 will get you 20% off. It'll also get you that free shipping, the 2 free gifts that are all going to come along with all of that. And it's just, you can't go wrong. Like, you literally cannot go wrong getting this package. So click the link in the description, go grab it. We've already been using these products for like 3 years now. You already know they're good. Go get it. Go get updated, go get the new 4.0 and love yourself. Love the whole package of everything you get. Use the discount code. Don't forget it. Remember, discount code and link in the description. Go click it. Let's get back to the video, guys. There's some shifts. There's some movement, different gods in here than maybe the last time. Heavily taking into account what the SPL junglers are doing because their god pools are so wide right now. I mean, every role is really wide, but SPL junglers are kind of playing everything. So looking at what's doing well there, on top of, I've been grinding ranked lately. I'm at like 2800 MMR, 2900 MMR, playing Masters, Grandmasters games. So there's that. I get to see what people are doing in those games. And then, you know, I'm casual grinding all day, every day. So we see what people are doing in casuals. Pretty much gonna be spot on with a mix of all 3 of those incorporated. So hopefully this helps you guys. Hopefully it lets you guys know what to play. And I'm gonna go ahead and just kind of, you know, jump into it, I think. Make sure you're subscribed and make sure you like the video, please. The likes are really big. I know people tell you to like videos, like it actually makes a big difference. It affects how it promotes within YouTube. So you just taking 2 seconds to hit the like button on any video you like, or every video, really helpful. But anyway, besides the point, we're gonna jump into it. We're gonna go from number 5 up to number 1. So our 5th best jungler up to the best jungler. And most of these are assassins, but not all of them, which shouldn't be that surprising. Number 5 on the list is one people were asking me a bunch in the comments on the last video. Why isn't Sett on this list? Sett had a kind of a fall off in being played. I think that was because there was a transition between like the auto attack builds, the hybrid builds, and these full ability builds. Sett kind of pumps still with the full ability builds, and that needs to be recognized, that needs to be understood. Sett has high mobility. Sett is still getting in. Sett's getting another nerf. It's not gonna make Sett bad because Sett still has the utility, the high mobility, the reduced physical damage when your 3 is up, the slow immunity when your 3 is up, the sustain, which works really well in your casual and ranked games because people do not build anti-heal against the Sett. Now, if you have like 3 healers on your team, you'll probably see anti-heal, but most games people do not prioritize anti-heal against just a Sett being in the game, which is a big thing to your advantage. So when you're picking and you want to play Sett, maybe make sure you don't have other healers on your team, just to kind of help yourself out a little bit there. You have really good ranged poke, which I talk about being extremely valuable all the time out of that role, the jungle role. And he kind of just does what he wants, and the builds really amplify that. Speaking of builds, we have smitesource.com. It is updated for every role, and it's about to have a massive overhaul. Visually, it's going to look 1,000 times better. It's going to run way smoother, way faster, way better on your phone if you're not using the browser. And it's going to grow. It's not just going to be builds anymore. I'm not going to say too much, but I will hint at the fact that it will be your one-stop shop for everything for you in Smite, in terms of maybe your account, maybe your information, maybe your match history, those kind of things. But that'll be in a little bit. We're talking about Sett, right? Let's go ahead, get into our Sett builds. All, like I said, all Smite source has been updated. Click on the build you want. If there's multiple builds that are viable, you'll see them listed here right now. We're just looking at a regular ability jungle build for Sett. You're looking at Bumba Spear, pretty core on almost every assassin in Smite right now because the item is really good stats wise. People don't realize, I get asked all the time, why is it good? If an item's good, it's because the stats are good, especially when everyone's building it. If it's like a gimmicky pick on a certain god, like a soul eater working on a certain god, then you might be like, kind of confused why it works, but if everyone's building it, it's because the stats are just better than the other stats. So Bumba Spear, cracked out of your mind. Jotun's Wrath into the Crusher. Crusher is insane right now. These aren't updated because it's being updated on the new site, so don't worry about that. Crusher now has more power. Jotun's has the more power. You've got Hydras to get you more burst. It doesn't proc on every use of your 2 anymore on Sett, but it is still very, very good. Serrated Edge, because Serrated Edge is one of the best pen items in the game. Gives you a lot of power, gives you movement speed, and anytime you're playing a jungler, movement speed is core. And then Heartseeker to wrap it up. With these builds, in my personal opinion, Heartseeker is not a must on every single god. You'll play just fine without it. That could be a brawler's beat stick. So essentially you would build brawlers early. You'd probably build it in here in between these 2 items, and then you would just not build the Heartseeker. So if you ever need to do that, go for it. Or if you're dying, you can drop same thing, drop Heartseeker out of the build in these slots here, build a Magi's Blessing or a Mantle if you want to be like, you need that survivability, but usually a Magi's Blessing on most assassins is going to be pretty core. And build it here, drop the Heartseeker out of the build. Always an option, always what you want to be looking at, and you'll just see a lot of success. I think that Magi's option is pretty valuable all the time. You do not need to be a glass cannon in your games. When you're in competitive matches, like you're around your skill level, wherever that is, doesn't matter if it's high, low, in between, whatever. Magi's Blessing has a lot of value because if you make a mistake or if the other team makes a play and hits you with a CC ability on your engagement, it doesn't stop you. You still get to do all that damage. You still get to have all that mobility. And it's an item that really needs to be valued by assassin players and jungler players. It just goes a long way. So there's number 5 on our list. Number 4 on our list. This one, I know people are gonna be like, where did this come from? Weekend, I don't understand. Where'd you get it from? Camazotz. Ever since, like the second the ability junglers being in meta and that patch came out and all the buffs came through, I mentioned Camazotz because every time ability junglers are core and all those items are really strong, Camazotz starts getting played and does very, very well at a high level and at a mid level and at a low level. He is a semi higher skill god in the fact that you have 2 longer range skill shots that some people struggle to hit, and then you have to know the timing on your ultimate because it takes a second to get up in the air. So if you're reacting slow, you might die a lot instead of getting your ult off. But then the 3 is pretty much like the kicker that really brings the build all the way around, in my opinion. So Camazotz, with Camazotz, here you go. You've got your build. Your Bumba Spear is your first item, going to the Jotun's Wrath, going to the Hydras. This can be an Erendite if you want. It does not need to be Hydras, but I think if you're hard carrying, Hydras has a lot more value because you're in their face a lot and you're able to get a lot of autos off. Crusher, you can swap these 2 up if this is what's more comfortable for you. Heartseeker, that item that is always able to be swapped out. And then you've got Serrated Edge. Standard ability build. And remember, Camazotz has good sustain. You sustain off your 3, you sustain off your 2, and anytime somebody has died in your area, they drop a pool on the ground. You can stand in that and sustain out of that. You have immobility, or not immobility, CC immunity in your ultimate. You've got the ability to dodge damage off of your 3, and then you just have a slow, and you've got extra damage. You're 1 buffing a lot of your damage, making your autos hit extra hard. So that is something for you to realize. Anytime that 1 hits and you catch it, you do a lot more auto attack damage. You do a lot more damage in general. So just keep pumping through that and realize you do a lot. And Camazotz is extremely valuable right now in this meta. Next up on the list, Daji, which is another one that I think Daji like just has been good for a long time. And because you're in that stage where mid to late game Daji, which you almost always get the mid to late game Daji one-shots, people just are doing amazing things with it. They're just pumping and popping people with the Daji. So we'll go ahead and go to Smite Source, go to Daji, go to our one-tapper build. Bumba Spear build is the same. Hydra's being a core part of that build, and it's because of your auto attack canceling. So Daji is very good because you can buy yourself time in the ultimate, a lot of time. There's a bunch of meta gods that do not have CC immune ultimates, like Olarun, like Thoth is being played. In the jungle, you've got Gilgamesh being played. You have so many gods being picked that can be countered by Daji ult and make them buy beads, or you can burn their beads, or if their beads are down, it's a free kill. Top of that, crazy damage coming out of the whole kit between the ult, the 3, the 2, and the 1, all doing an insane amount of damage. But the Hydra's meant being core. You can auto attack cancel with your 1. So you can auto 1 auto. So literally you can left click, hold left click. The second the auto goes off, you press 1, it'll auto again instantly, and you'll do all that burst damage as well as apply the 1 and do the 1 damage. That will one-shot mages late game. The 3 auto, 1 auto will one-shot people. It's just all the auto attack canceling, all the extra burst, all the Hydra's attack, lament procs are doing wonders to one-shot mages and hunters. It is disgusting late game. I love playing Daji. I haven't really had many bad games on Daji. The one thing I do want to note on Daji, you start with your 2 at rank 1. Then you want to level your 3 just to be safe, in my opinion. Then you want to level your 1, right? So you've got 1, 2, 3, first 3 levels. Then you will level your 2 again to a rank 2. Then you will level your ult. So at level 5, you will have a point in your 1, 2 points in your 2, a point in your 3, and a point in your ultimate. You will not level the 2 again until your 1 is maxed. So after that, you will max the 1 because that is the most burst damage you need. And your 2 is already full clearing camps. So you don't need to buff the 2 anymore. You don't need to upgrade the 2. Once the 1 is upgraded, you will level the 2. You will then level the 3. You will then level the ult. You level the 3 because that's part of your rotation kit. When you go on somebody, you 3 auto attack, 1 auto attack. If you can't kill them with the 2 as the last part of that, you will ult to buy yourself time. Your 3 will be back up and you can disengage. So that's kind of the way it's played and why you level those abilities and why it's core to level the abilities in that way. So number 2 on our list is our only non-assassin, and it is a warrior, which should not be shocking, and it is Gilgamesh. Gilgamesh has been pumping. I watched SPL's game today with San Francisco going like 8-0-1 or something on him with 1 defensive item, as I've been mentioning. He plays insanely well with the ability build. That's literally why he is where he is. He's super strong and was a top assassin jungler in the auto attack meta and in the hybrid meta. Then we shift to an ability meta, and he's just as good because he has 4 damaging abilities that hit very, very hard. You do not need to be auto attack like built to do damage with your auto attacks because the 1 is so strong. And then the whole kit is just beefy. It's tanky. It has a lot of control and CC in it. It's a very valuable kit that it's going to take a lot of nerfs to knock him down and make him not tippity top. So yeah, we're going to the Gilgamesh into our standard jungle build. Now in the standard jungle build, I have mannequin mace just because it gives you that early pressure that you might lack, but you do not need to go mannequin mace. You can still go into the Bumba's spear and Bumba's hammer build. The normal jungle build you've been seeing on everybody has ability base, just as strong. This just applies more early pressure, and if you're one of those people who likes to fight at level 2 as soon as you walk into the mid lane, mannequin mace is a very strong item for doing that because of the dot. But either way, you can do a lot of damage and still have that playstyle with the Bumba's hammer. This is just what I've been building. I swap back and forth honestly between the 2, and then it's your normal items. Jotuns, tons of power, tons of CDR, so you can spam your abilities. Crusher, you have 4 damaging abilities that could all apply the Crusher, so the Crusher gets even more benefit from you, plus the attack speed buffing your 1, even more benefit for you, making you very strong. I don't opt for Hydras. You can go Hydras if that's the kind of playstyle you want to go for. I end up opting for the Erendite, so during the ultimate you're able to chase around a lot better in and out of that ultimate. Then we go to the Serrated as normal, and then Heartseeker. Heartseeker is the item, once again, you'll drop out for a Magi's Blessing or whatever defensive item you feel is necessary. And that is our number 2 on the list, the top 5 junglers. And number 1 is not a surprise whatsoever. I'm not even going to go into the game because I feel like you guys already know what it is. It's Ravana. And why is it Ravana? It's Ravana because he does well into every single god being played. He does well into Geb. So I'm going to start with like the Guardians, right? So Geb is being played a lot, Artio is being played a lot, and Terra is being played a lot, right? Those are 3 of the most popular Guardians between the solo lane and the support role. You can 2 knockups, you can 2 ults, you can knock up ults on Geb. So you can avoid all of Geb's CC if you play it right? Same with Terra. You can avoid the stun, you can avoid the roots, you can avoid the claps because you have so much mobility while also being able to lock people down. He also does very well into Terra because of the roots, where Terra can't be knocked up, which is a really core CC in Smite right now. Terra can't be knocked up when she has a pillar down. So she drops her 3 or 2, she can't be knocked up. Well, Ravana doesn't have any knockups or hard CCs like that. He has roots, and he can still counter Terra around that. You can root Terra and hit the pylons and kill them. You can root Terra just to disrupt everything and stop the dashes so she doesn't get a double dash. Really good in the Terra. And then Artio. Artio pretty much counters every assassin in Smite because they all require mobility. Ravana doesn't. Your ultimate is CC immune. Your 2 gives you CC immunity. You can slow the Artio and root the Artio and keep the Artio off of you if you need to, or chase down however you want. So in terms of moving around team fights, Ravana avoids all of those abilities that those gods lock down with, which is why he's so valuable. Then you compare to the other junglers that I mentioned. Gilgamesh can avoid a lot of Gilgamesh damage. It does trade very well into Gilgamesh. Can avoid Daji's ult altogether with just the 2, has the ultimate as a backup, and then you have your beads whenever you get it at level 12, right? So Ravana right there, tons of counter to Daji. Kamazotz is one of the more even trades. If you immune a major damage ability from Kamazotz, you win the trade. So it's pretty much you just play smarter to use your 1 ability smarter, and you're ahead. And then Sett being the last of the top 5 junglers, Sett's a little bit different because you both are going to clash. You could avoid a lot of Sett damage. If Sett goes to throw the 1 and you avoid it in any way, shape, or form, you win that fight completely, and you can avoid it by using the ult of the 2 at the right time. but you do have the root. Your slows do not apply to Sett, and Sett can kind of dance around you a little bit if playing right, but you can win that. It's a little bit more even, but not perfect. That's just the top 5 junglers I'm mentioning. Does well into many of the other junglers, almost all of them. In terms of warriors, does well into a lot of them because of the lockdown you have and because of the CC immunities you have. And then in diving hunters and mages, same thing. You play against an ul, if you 2 the axe, ul's dead. He has to run away, right? If you do that to most hunters, they have to run away. I'd say one of the harder to deal with hunters would probably be Charybdis, but Charybdis is it's like an unkillable hunter, similar to Jingwei in my opinion. So we don't really worry about that matchup. Ravana just does insanely well right now in all of the meta. I love playing Ravana. There's a lot of comps where you get to the end of it, and your last pick is a jungler, and you're like, yo, Ravana full counters all 9 gods in this game. Let me play Ravana. Happens all the time. I even mentioned it. I was playing ranked the other day. I was playing mid, and I had a jungler pick something like Loki, and I was like, if he goes Ravana here, it was on the other team. I was like, if he was just gone Ravana, he would have countered us. He literally would have beat us with that one pick, because Ravana's just in a really good spot. Does a lot of damage, has a lot of control, has a lot of just immunity. He's fantastic. If Ravana's not in your pool of gods you're playing right now, he should be. He's been pretty much meta for like 4 years. So start playing him. Get used to it. Because it's not changing. I don't see it changing at all. Nobody's complaining about Ravana. So it's really not going to change. So hopefully this helps you guys. Hopefully you guys know what to play now. You know the builds. You know, go to smitesource.com. You are subscribed to the channel. Hit the buttons wherever Daedra puts them. Make sure the videos are liked too. Goes a long way. And I will be dropping the top 5 mids next. Already working on recording that. So if you're looking for that, it's coming soon. I will see you all in the video later tomorrow, the next day, and the next day.